Imagine walking into a pharmacy and receiving a medication formulated not for your demographic, not for your age group, but exclusively for your unique genetic code. For centuries, medicine has operated on a fundamental law of averages, treating the human body as a standardized machine where a single pill is expected to cure a million wild variations of a disease. If you happen to fall outside the statistical norm, the standard treatment might fail, or worse, cause active harm. The biological reality is that you are an anomaly, a complex, breathing ecosystem of trillions of cells interacting in ways no single human mind can fully track or predict. Now, a profound shift is occurring at the intersection of human biology and artificial intelligence. We are moving away from the era of one-size-fits-all medicine and crossing a binary bridge into the age of truly personalized healthcare. By feeding vast oceans of patient data into sophisticated algorithms, medical professionals are unlocking a level of customization previously confined to science fiction. This is not about replacing the doctor, but rather equipping human intuition with a digital lens capable of seeing the invisible patterns hidden within our very DNA. To understand this transformation, we must first look at the fuel powering these digital systems, which is genomic data. A human genome contains roughly 3 billion base pairs of DNA, creating a dataset so massive that analyzing a single patient's genetic sequence used to take years and cost billions of dollars. Today, machine learning algorithms can process this staggering volume of information in hours. These systems are trained to recognize the subtle genetic variations that make you uniquely susceptible to certain conditions or uniquely responsive to specific therapies. Think of traditional diagnostics as trying to understand a complex novel by reading only the chapter titles. Human doctors, brilliant and dedicated as they are, simply do not have the cognitive bandwidth to cross-reference a patient's entire genetic history, lifestyle factors, and thousands of real-time physiological metrics simultaneously. The algorithm, however, reads every single letter of that novel, cross-referencing it against millions of other medical records in a global library in mere seconds. It finds the hidden typos, the minute cellular errors that signal the silent beginning of a disease. This computational power is absolutely crucial for biomarker identification. A biomarker is a biological molecule found in blood, other body fluids, or tissues that is a sign of a normal or abnormal process, or of a condition or disease. Finding the right biomarker is like finding a specific grain of sand on a vast, shifting beach. Artificial intelligence excels at this exact type of high-dimensional data analysis. Researchers at institutions like the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard are using these computational models to sift through petabytes of data, identifying novel biomarkers that human researchers might spend an entire lifetime trying to isolate. Once these molecular signatures are identified, the clinical applications become profoundly personal and immediately impactful. Consider the terrifying reality of a cancer diagnosis. Historically, oncology has relied heavily on broad-spectrum treatments like chemotherapy, which attack rapidly dividing cells indiscriminately, ravaging healthy tissue alongside the tumor. It is a brutal, exhausting war of attrition, but cancer is not a single, uniform disease. It is a highly individualized genetic mutation. Your cancer is as unique as your fingerprint. This is where AI cancer treatment completely rewrites the medical playbook. By analyzing the specific genetic makeup of a patient's tumor alongside their healthy cells, artificial intelligence can predict exactly which therapies will be most effective. The digital system models thousands of potential chemical interactions in a virtual environment before a single drop of medicine ever enters the patient's body. It identifies the specific vulnerabilities of the tumor, allowing oncologists to deploy highly targeted biological weapons rather than carpet bombing the patient's entire immune system. The days of enduring toxic, ineffective treatments through agonizing trial and error are slowly coming to an end. Armed with these algorithmic insights, doctors can now determine tailored drug dosages that maximize efficacy while minimizing debilitating side effects. If the AI determines that a patient's liver enzymes will metabolize a drug too quickly, it can recommend an exact dosage increase to compensate. It is precision medicine in its purest form, an intricate, life-saving dance between the chemical reality of the patient and the predictive power of the machine. Beyond chemical therapies, this binary bridge is also revolutionizing physical interventions like radiation oncology. Designing a radiation plan is a complex, three-dimensional geometric puzzle. The goal is to deliver a lethal dose of radiation to the tumor while sparing the surrounding healthy organs by mere millimeters. Traditionally, this requires a team of dosimetrists and physicists hours or even days to calculate. Now, deep learning models can analyze imaging scans and generate optimal, highly customized radiation plans in a matter of minutes. The speed and accuracy of these automated calculations are actively democratizing access to world-class care across the globe. In rural hospitals or developing nations where specialized oncologists are critically scarce, cloud-connected AI systems can provide local physicians with the exact same diagnostic and treatment planning capabilities found at premier research hospitals. The algorithm acts as an ever-present, infinitely experienced consultant, elevating the baseline of care for millions of people who previously would have been left behind by geographic and economic disparities. But what if the machine sees something we cannot even comprehend? As neural networks become exponentially more advanced, they are beginning to identify patterns in medical imaging that completely baffle their human creators. For example, AI models trained on retinal scans have learned to accurately predict a patient's age, biological sex, and risk of cardiovascular disease just by looking at the blood vessels in the eye. Human ophthalmologists cannot do this, and frankly, the scientific community does not entirely understand how the AI is pulling it off either. This brings us to the black box problem, a profound challenge at the very heart of human-machine interaction. When an algorithm recommends a specific, perhaps unconventional treatment protocol, the doctor must be able to trust that recommendation implicitly. But if the AI cannot explain its reasoning, if it cannot show its mathematical work in a way a human mind can grasp, that trust is fundamentally fractured. In the high-stakes, life-and-death arena of healthcare, blind faith in an unexplainable machine is a highly dangerous proposition. Therefore, the most successful implementations of artificial intelligence in medicine do not seek to replace human judgment but to strategically augment it. The concept of the human in the loop is critical to this technological evolution. The machine highlights the anomalies, crunches the complex probabilities, and suggests the tailored drug regimens, but the physician makes the final, authoritative call. The doctor brings empathy, ethical reasoning, and a nuanced understanding of the patient's personal values to the table, elements that no line of code can ever replicate. This collaborative dynamic is extending far beyond the walls of the oncology ward. In the highly complex realm of pharmacology, artificial intelligence is drastically shrinking the timeline for global drug discovery. Historically, bringing a new medication to market takes over a decade and billions of dollars, burdened with an incredibly high rate of failure. Now, generative AI models can design entirely new molecular structures from scratch, predicting their chemical stability, potential toxicity, and biological effectiveness before they are ever synthesized in a physical laboratory. This means that rare diseases, conditions that affect too few people to be considered profitable by traditional pharmaceutical metrics, suddenly become viable targets for intense research. The cost of discovery plummets when the initial trial and error is conducted in a digital simulation rather than a physical laboratory. We are rapidly approaching an era where bespoke treatments could be engineered and synthesized for genetic diseases that affect only a handful of families worldwide. To fully appreciate the magnitude of this shift, we must consider the flawed history of clinical trials. For decades, medical research heavily relied on homogeneous patient populations, often skewing heavily toward specific demographics while entirely ignoring others. This historical bias meant that many approved drugs were significantly less effective, or even medically dangerous, for women and minority populations. The foundational data upon which modern medicine was built was fundamentally flawed. Today, researchers are acutely aware that an AI is only as good as the data it learns from. If we feed these new algorithms the biased data of the past, we will simply automate and amplify old medical inequalities at machine speed. The real challenge lies in building diverse, comprehensive datasets that truly represent the entire global population. Leading tech companies and medical consortiums are now racing to sequence genomes from historically underrepresented groups, attempting to build a more equitable foundation for the future of precision medicine. As these global datasets grow richer and more inclusive, the impact on your daily life will become increasingly invisible and deeply profound. The seamless integration of wearable technology with cloud-based AI means that healthcare is no longer confined to the sterile walls of a hospital or a doctor's office. Your smartwatch, tracking your heart rate variability, blood oxygen levels, and sleep patterns, is constantly streaming data to an algorithm that knows your physiological baseline far better than you do. We are actively shifting from a reactive medical system, one that waits for you to get sick before intervening, to a proactive, predictive model of sustained wellness. Imagine an AI detecting a subtle, long-term shift in your physiological data that indicates a high probability of a cardiac event in the next 5 years. It does not just send a warning notification, It works directly with your doctor to adjust your tailored drug regimen and lifestyle recommendations immediately, effectively neutralizing the threat before a single physical symptom ever manifests. And this is just the beginning of the convergence between biotechnology and digital intelligence. We are witnessing the early, breathtaking stages of CRISPR gene editing being actively guided by machine learning algorithms. In the near future, AI will not just predict which existing drugs will work for your specific cancer, it will design the exact genetic edits required to reprogram your own immune system to hunt down the tumor cells itself. It is the ultimate form of customized healthcare, rewriting the very source code of life to eradicate disease. Yet, as we stand on the precipice of this astonishing medical revolution, we must grapple with profound philosophical questions. What happens to our fundamental understanding of human mortality when disease becomes a highly manageable engineering problem? How do we ensure that this astonishing level of personalized care does not become a luxury available only to the hyper-wealthy, creating a permanent biological divide between those who can afford digital optimization and those who cannot? Furthermore, the issue of data privacy looms large over this entire technological endeavor. To achieve true precision medicine, we must surrender our most intimate biological details to the digital realm. Our DNA, our comprehensive medical history, our daily physical habits must all be digitized, stored, and continuously analyzed. Protecting this deeply personal information from corporate exploitation, insurance discrimination, or malicious cyber attack is perhaps the most critical infrastructure challenge of the 21st century. Despite these immense ethical and logistical challenges, the trajectory of modern medicine is incredibly clear. The intertwining of human ingenuity and machine intelligence is creating a healthcare paradigm that is more compassionate, more precise, and fundamentally more effective than anything we have ever known. The algorithm does not replace the vital human touch. It clears away the noise and the guesswork, allowing medical professionals to focus entirely on the fragile, complex human being sitting in front of them. The digital pioneers who first envisioned machines that could learn have set a course that is now actively saving lives in oncology wards and research laboratories around the world. The echoes of those early visions still guide the field, reminding us that technology is at its most powerful when it is harnessed directly to alleviate human suffering. We are no longer treating a statistical average, we are treating the individual in all their biological complexity. This is the ultimate promise of the binary bridge. It is a future where artificial intelligence decodes the infinite complexity of your biology, where cancer treatments are as unique as your DNA, and where the full power of human empathy is amplified by the limitless capacity of the machine. The era of one-size-fits-all medicine is rapidly fading into history, replaced by a customized digital destiny that holds the potential to heal us all, one extraordinary individual at a time.